Thank you so much, Stephen Pite, for bringing us up to speed with the precinct of Parliament, where vetting processes will continue on for the different cabinet ministers that appointed by the president and must be vetted legislative house. People were asking, why is it that it is the legislature that all the keys for the president, from the cabinet ministers to judiciary and to all the other public servants in that will be leading the different institutions that we do have, MPs to be exact. Well, I do have Honorable Ssemujju Nganda who will able to answer that question as to what gives you the power to be the one to vote everybody else in this process of ensuring and fostering new administration into position. Honorable, good morning to you and you're welcome.
Morning. Parliament. First is constitutional. Parliament, by its nature, is supposed to be representing the population. So by definition, it is population vetting, but Parliament is doing so on their behalf. But they are not vetting all the appointments. The vetting is for ministers, the judges up to the High Court, the Inspector General of Police and Deputy, Bank of Uganda. I am not sure that Parliament is more than 100, more than 200. But with the minister, they are going, the one vetting and implementing ones appearing before. So that's what I mean. I don't know specifically. Maybe another body I saw in Kenya, people are made hearings. They take long. One time the appointment General of Police in Kenya 3 days, but ours is a ceremony that has vetted. I don't think they.
So you've been part of this vetting. Exactly transpires out for when people are before you for.
Ordinarily, each member of the given a fight. You should go through this meeting starts. People are ushered in to introduce themselves, and you look at the minimum, the qualification that apply under the law, and to be the same as being a member of Parks. And you were accepted as the minimum qualification. The rest is a matter of because the question about their capacity and able to deliver, because then without ministries where people in the Parliament demanded that in which people are being deployed. So that is done. So sometimes it's very, people would be able to attend on health, on and so forth. In Uganda, stops at the qualification to colleagues who are there. You don't, because spending 30 minutes on it, what sort of vetting is that? 20 minutes on is out. So the real vetting about the capacity of a pastry, the pastry. In last Parliament, one of us pleaded guilty to charges, and under the leadership, you are a convict. You will not access until after 10 years. But Parliament simply, sometimes they don't have information. Sometimes, one time the president must have been the Honorable Kadaga that his list must be one. To go in a list and say, he said, the speaker said, voting on the whole, because some colleagues we should remove on the list, not on the. They told me there were videos. They went to citizenship. All the, I think 5 nominees were problems with their had is even Rwanda. Yet the others still sorting out themselves. The Honorable Sanjay doesn't carry any other country income. So I have been told a request that Honorable Janet Kataha be vetted on Zoom last time. The MPs, no, she's not when she's available. But I'm told the throughout NRM MPs were to go and demand vetted Zoom. By close of vetted and passed. So the has destroyed the committee. The appointments committee of time, because ordinarily the committee of government or something in Parliament to go and each and every nominee. By the time you walk into a meeting, have sufficient information. But sometimes MPs
an ordinary interview
on a carvis, and they ask you qualify. No, I went to, and then they say okay, person.
All right, so to analyze this topic of discussion that we will be starting as Mr. Moviro, an economist, but also a conversant with administration and the new administration shaping different positions being asked to have a whole that guides us for the next 5. What do you make of the vet is ongoing at Parliament?
Thank you. Good morning. Vetting process. There is what we call and the reality. By law, call it the vetting process, but in reality, call it an endorsing. I give you vote. You know, when they bring the minutes and they say, here, this one small, then the less minutes by saying amendments, we go. Now, in our position, in reality, it's like endorse. You can say yes, by law, it is vetting. There's no way you can vet. I concur with my honorable here. What else? You cannot vet of them. You are focusing on what is taking place. Just to fulfill, we call it tick in the box, and then you have other that you want to make through. So if honorable, it comes to say the first thing that is looked at, that is emphasized, are you a senior? Are you a senior 6? Tick. Data has seen it is. If I was seeing the clip that they are going vetting today, if I'm not mistaken, the majority, they had 30, that means the majority have what to vet all those people. We are asking what to deliver. You also should give us what you are able to deliver, not do you qualify this action. Okay. What are you going to do?
It could be that the vetting for the 5 years to which ministers having management and administration, we will see in the vet. That's how it may be happening. But in our case, Parliament's growing big, and who gets to the price of what is gotten, and judge not its leaders spend, but it's fail in return. And so here in Morning at NTV this morning, we're focusing on the military budget. If you do have a which you can get access in or on our website, we get the speaker budget growing old. Rebecca Kadaga had 4.4 billion under Jacob Olanya, 3.9 billion Ugandan win. And Speaker of Parliament went up to 25 billion Uganda. This morning we're turning this Parliament, and not as public spending, but spend itself. They're there to scrutinize others. They also do a budget that enables them to scrutiny, the oversight, ability, and over other institutions. 6 years, Parliament has grown from roughly 1 billion Ugandan shillings over 20 to nearly 1 trillion Ugandan shillings. Striking. Its office, particularly figures with you, you get in also a rise. It's not doubled and doubled. The staffing structures as we directors all been expanded in. I've gotten wind of that shows was a doorkeeper. We'll be sharing all that as we get into the discussion. Come to you this morning. Are Parliament strengthening the deficit or stretches in its? We're having this to just break down public administration, especially through Parliament's budget. So fast, I'll start Ssemujju Nganda of the end in which we have seen the Rebecca to Jacob Olanya net among 4.4 billion just because of officers, 28 billion. Could you help us in the contributing factors administrative increment?
I haven't looked at the breakdown of the Speaker's office, but I know that there are new introduced there that never is parliamentary budget. For example, the Speaker a budget of, I haven't looked at the last financial year, the 5 billion for the is 28, I don't know, is for donation. And then you have I've been around as a journalist, but also in the directorship used to be accommodating both the Speaker. Because of the quarrels during the second Speaker, they decided to, and the Deputy Speaker, directorates doing their own budget. That's what you have with the Constitution, that including the Administration Act, proposing your budget, passing it. So is very minimal. But also from my, the 6 interim budgets, including increment, would be a debate in the whole. These days, it will be a committee on legal ability. There was time they even had issues with it. Never, because it has been distorted. So the question you have asked items under the officer that never, one of them is must have man and deputation. Corporate social responsibility has gone to Zambia a billion. It has to be that low at your just money. When James Wapika, he had only Mercedes man and drive. You now have with the 12 something, even close roads approaching. That drivers, policemen, you fuel him because I think each vehicle fuel card of 4 per month per vehicle times 12, and sometimes you move. So that's how the budget has. These economists have told me that the value 1 million today's value 5. So they usually do when they are value.
So but 5 years to they put that back up.
Yes, they look at your money today, then be forecasting that value will be in. They do that in budgeting, economists, but I have asked. So the trouble I think started with the mention of the directorship, directorate of Liquor, directorate of this. and then particular departments on budget. Then the budget is subordinates, because when you are subordinates of the speaker, you are processing their budget, and then eventually you will go and another layer that discussed with the president directly. If you look at our own emoluments, from about 200 somehow, legislative emoluments 500 billion. The budget for them used to be about 40, it's now about 31. The budget, the total for donation in Parliament, 4 billion. So Parliament has increased. So from the figure sharing, it has grown from about to now 1. So people who are responsible for budgeting, because by Minister of Finance give, because that's that this will be your ceiling, so you begin feeling it.
Is that the ceiling that has moved higher?
And the MPs have carefully grown it, handling budgets of other.
Okay.
And from my experience in Parliament, MPs and their corresponding budgets of other is growing. Should also grow. If it is
to the one himself as the layman on the you're an economist, also really public administration. When you look at the situation that we have from over 600, 1.2 trillion shillings as we speak, staggering growth. We look to some of the budget that Honorable Ssemujju has, they're not really ones that trickle down of the public trust serving Ugandans in capacities. What is explaining this growth? Is it gratuity or is spending or bureaucracy?
Look, outrage. But before you, there are some points that the thing is what they call purchasing. When it was, they said now we are 28.
That's for the speakership, but okay. Overall,
when had that figure
from
to whatever we had, the requirements are there. What was the purchase? How many liters of fuel would you get in 5,000? If we are getting 2 liters, 5,000, 1 liter in 6,000, that means purchasing power has dropped 200 times plus. So I expect you getting 600 for 100 liters have to by what we call the purchasing inflation. So this can lead to these figures to go. So the budget is too big. But then, and in the other point we have, how big is the economy? But then, probably I needed to move one to finish my tasks. Now I have to move. Okay, then I would have to complete the issues. But now go to leave. That one will be at level. Then solve the active, the vibe itself. The things we need to security, are we at that level or we are moving at snail speed in the budgets? Remember that the government is to get money from me and you, my honorable here. Is every coin spent, it must have or indirect beneficial is in the budget. We mentioned one part in the speaker donation. Where are you donating that money? I would have no problem had the 2 billion for donation and the schools where people are sitting. It's a donation. Yes. Everybody would say, yes, the speaker. And so this year, 6 schools now, they bought chairs. Where do we put this? Instead of benefiting and you, the taxpayers, this is true.
But also, there could be a conflict. You do have the case that you have, the speaker is able to put up a school. Under the Ministry of Education, have budgeted to improve on the education in that particular. Wouldn't that be a contrasts and priorities?
Bathing a baby, and the baby decides to eat itself in the water. Want to pour away the water, baby. Situation where we don't follow the traditional framework to follow. She donates the money. Who is you request the Auditor General will come up, it will take 5 years, it will be shelved. In that confusion in the water, better we pull out the good with the water. I would, if you are accused of buying chair in the village and being accused that you to dress yourself.
I have
what would be as a shadow former chance made proposals departments. If you allow me, this is the budget. Have 12 billion, but you go to rent of MPs will never see it. Proposition whip MPs computers, they need just correcting. The 6 never had. They had only 3 committees east here. They will never. In the parliamentary money for workshops, billion. Entertainment, 8 point. Rent, 2. Beddings, over inland. Donation. And this of the national budget. Ask them, because I announced, with I didn't have backup. So I kept asking many. In each man, for the same things.
Including donations.
Because donation now, they told for donation.
So it has only come to this is budget for ministry.
But you are budgeting.
Budget lines.
Can you imagine
similar.
even there has money for donation? The Chief Justice go. You don't bring from...
It's not public.
So you are kept away from the... So as he told me that they cut over accounts. Just list their thing you put in figures. If you look at the department now, it is 24. But for the whole budget, we have 106 billion for donation. 100 and then you go... When I was the chief opposition, we had 800 for donation. For me, they gave, and I said, if you want also to donate, of giving everybody. Whip has 800 for donation, they 0. So it doesn't start with the parliament to as an era. But if you look at the budget, the whole budget, you have entered the whole budget 200 billion. You have special meal in the whole budget now in 36 billion. 36 billion. I have mentioned these things. I go to parliament, paid. Given breakfast, you go to a committee because you're looking at the budget of parliament.
Continental breakfast. We have
there
fruits.
Yes, you sit on the budget committee with MPs, but on a number have 10, 7,
but they have bring 40 MPs.
Then they carry them. I don't know what happens to committee.
And inside the cause that it's oversight, the work has expanded. Inside this point of view, evidence that you're sharing with us of the increases for the financial.
Yes, the budget for. Now you go to do a budget. I hope you listen to the presenting my money. Spend 4 nights the budget report meeting. We came back almost. So why did we spend money in it? Because when the MPs had to keep the president had it. See the thing. But we sit in a hotel where each night per MP about 200 us. And that's why you have workshops and seminars at workshops and seminars billion. For workshops and seminars, you're going to spend actually 300 billion. That's why I've told people that in Uganda, when you start with the official, that you put money to utilize the way you are. Even when that calls, but there is in a budget, so and go there and have yourself and return. When I joined the parliament, for us at Monda, we went for a meeting about 4 days. We are doing the anti-terrorism. We are giving allowances of 700,000 per day allowance to do our work
that you're already being paid.
When I came back and I wrote about ones, you are laughing at me. You see. So you have not seen. So you were excited. We want to inspect a guard, only 1 million each, and we spent there. There was even nothing to. We came back with our friends, and they were laughing at us. For me, the starting point deal with wastage. For money to be spent and then quarreling over it. This money maintained in the about 4 years ago. The Honorable Mwanga prison now was Shadow Minister. He put it and also said we need to reallocate, which is useless things. President Museveni, and he said a group has 7 trillion in the budget to reallocate. Yeah, today until here.
When you listen to what has submitted here, two stories that there's of course justification that it be as far as of economics are concerned. At the same time, when you break down of the budget lines intended to address, we are really having some which is not really a bigger national peak. Ideally, they can see 7 hours here in Parliament, you know, screw and do the things that. So this is, speaking into a broad, we must pay attention to a broader culture of expansion.
For quite some. If you analyze of our country, I was very right. Almost a big percentage wastage to reach is not in. You'll find, for instance, Honorable, the facilitator will take probably 20 for you to complete the workshop. Preparations, they allow the transport, they are a big chunk of percentage. We are not giving gist to where the money is. Yes, an MP, another 100,000 already has allowance this where to sit. Him renting offices to places. Get used for only half a year, build for all of them offices. If you just get that budget and get land in, you buy the land and we have it. Here are our priorities, and he mentioned. And they institutionalize it and it will fine. It's the point I mentioned that you have put the donation, where are you donating it? Because the law allows you to show us that you went responsibility work. It is a tick in. So this budget, I agree. We don't put where the priority. It
begs the question, if we continue with this, because if Honorable to sit in that house 5 years and financial, understood the dynamics, it's the same budget just passed. That's what we're going to be experiencing to come. What is this cost of democracy for us?
And democracy They are only definitive along the one of the books, political science, governed by the people for the people. People have come up with it, and there's a way they define. They can define them by pushing you to, and that's what they have. To go with the true democracy, kill it. We felt that at the end we shall reach a level we are all in a fix. If we continue, you have a budget by percentage in the service delivery. Time will come when the man feel they want those, because what we is that the population is. I think there's a papers that we had 1 million births, but it is on average 1, and if it because of mortality rate would have gone to over. That means it is increasing. It has its when it increases, the opposition pressure in the politics. You see, one of the factors population growth and increase. The other time they were by the time I think I came to power, we were 11. Close to 12.
The first census in 12.5.
50. You can't. We use 50 for that. And it's the pressure. So to evacuate the speed is very fast. So you need more. This pressure has come. Will increase.
Established the budget expense primarily the priorities.
The way we put, because to buy more the word tear gas here instead of make Ssemujju in Parliament and say 1 trillion for tear gas. Ssemujju will say what? So I say million for tear. Then I find where to allocate 500. Have to achieve it. Spend on my luxuries, distribute in finding ways. That's why you find some honorables raising.
So are there accountabilities that exist to monitoring within these honorable?
The trouble is that NGOs are running governments. Systems and governments rely on laws and enforcement. I have the time I have on the budget committee here, that guys this money. I have been at 10 years. In a day, 1 shilling from my abused to me. Put in the budget that is hanging, to attempting people to abuse money for seminar, for donation, money for newspapers. Money for newspapers, which is about 20 newspapers billion. Newspapers, the whole government is going to 55 billion. And in December, the UNEB requesting for 8 to train teachers to know syllabus. National Curriculum Development requesting for 6 billion syllabus. You give them. They have asked for 6. You give. You have money 5 billion for reading, and they don't read them. You go to Parliament, office papers, they never read them. We have a library at Parliament. And around that Parliament, since 1999 as a job. At the beginning, MPs entering everything. Because of social media, you are using your phone. I mean, started a directory with the book as here at NT, spend a day or a week at, and you will see MP is entering. But you have with the books, with the and then the budget is growing. It doesn't. So the converse as a country, even if you have a mechanism, the moment you budget that is hanging, I told that you see human beings, all of us know another greedy. So them look at grow up in a village. I came to make this point. Have a buffet. The who serves himself put food of 4 people will never finish. To give him to pick, they will give you. Make this money available. Today it will be, tomorrow it will be the judiciary. Ask yourself, why should you allocate justice for donation? You've removed him from because of the virtue of his oblique from public. He doesn't.
Also by of his position, judiciary, they put position to donate.
They told him, chat over, give you a list and the figure budget next financial year, 2 trillion. Distribute it under the following donation. We put in because the scientific formula for you to donate.
Alluded to the fact that the Parliament, you have to move the ceiling up
because you have
the budget lower in order to exercise discipline. So if you had that means that something to be carried forward and forward. And as a country, we're losing. In Kenya, and as the we are not active service delivery.
Yeah, the MP revised their retirement. Huge. And President Uhuru Kenyatta said a bill, because understand that these figures are a law. And show you will process a law called the appropriation, eventually appropriations. It becomes if it has assented to it. It's of petitions, Parliament, Commission, etc. And you probably go to the President. One is that MPs look at the budget of it has this financial billion for class, and then they say, but you are here. No, you are taking too much. You will need a change, either the budgets or Parliament. It's going to be negotiated and
to wait 5 years, a lot of work continues to trickle. As we come to the close of this movie, what would be the economists would have to leadership expenditure rising rapidly?
When you spend and you are not exposed in the economy, natural processes like If I came here and I gave you one and I walked away, you might even feel what you respect. You just have the money. Because that is the thing which we have in our nation for some, and we have to grow it. There must be effort. But to come to that level, that is the order. Today, people reporting in the media, people have stacks of money, people filming their homes. What? I mean, what are the consequences? You have hoarded money in saturation to boom. And then the way they are, hospital they are. Okay. So time comes. One of the challenges that we have in Uganda, we have it to grow, is the of numbers. As you're asking him, would have made a change. Yeah, numbers. The number, yes, and they know where. And that one, the challenge.
All right.
Same thing, expecting.
Okay, just a debate that will be called for further discussion, joined by my colleague who is in there. He's also going to be giving us the preparations level there for today, which will be taking place.